that means you all remember what did we discuss yesterday? We discussed the foundations of research. We started with this unit, foundations of research. Is the PPT visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we started with understanding the foundations of research. That means what are the basic concepts of the research? Few terminologies, definitions we understood. What is research? We discussed the definitions from 3-4 authors. And basically, from all those definitions, we understood that research is a systematic effort. Research is a systematic inquiry that provides information to guide business decisions to find solutions to the problems. So, while doing a business, we all have to take decisions on day-to-day basis related to business and different business activities, and therefore research can help us to provide that information on the basis of which we can take good decisions. That we learned. We also discussed the purpose of business research, why we do the business research, and then we discussed what is called as good research, the different features or characteristics of a good research, that we discussed. Now today we will discuss the scientific method, research and scientific method. So this scientific method we use for conducting any research, and we need to understand what is that scientific method. So first of all, scientific method is simple to understand. They are basically a way of thinking about problems and their solutions. So the first feature of any scientific method is that it is directed towards understanding the different problems and thinking of their solutions. Scientific method, the second characteristic is that scientific method is systematic, step by step, logical and sequential process to prove existing theories or establish new theories. So while proving some existing theory, we can use research, the scientific method, as well as to establish or to create a new theory, we can use the systematic approach through the scientific method. Further, scientific method is a way. It is a way to researcher go about using knowledge and evidence to reach objective conclusions in the real world. In the real world, when we are conducting any business, we may have to face different problems, and to solve those problems, research and the methodology we use, scientific methodology of research which we use, can help us to get into some fruitful conclusions to solve those problems. And another feature of scientific method is that scientific method prescribes procedures. So it will guide us related to different procedures, ways to determine and connect theoretical statements relating to the events. So it will help us to connect all those theoretical statements relating to different events to understand the different events, the different problems, and to connect the theory with those events to solve those problems. The scientific method can help us by giving us the different guidelines and procedures to solve those problems. So that are these are the different features of scientific method which we use for conducting any research. Now, the steps in scientific method, what all steps we use for scientific method. When we are using any scientific method, there are different steps, and as we have already discussed, that the steps are sequential. Those steps are put into a logical sequence so that we can get desired results. These scientific method, the first step in any scientific method for conducting a research is identification of problem. First of all, we understand the problem. If we understand the problem correctly, then only we will be able to solve the problem. I gave you the example of doctor yesterday. If a doctor is able to identify or diagnose the disease correctly, then only he can prescribe correct medicines to solve or to cure the patient. And like that, in research also, you have to have uh, correct identification of the problem. You should know the correct problem where the problem lies. So therefore, the first step is identification of the problem. Develop a question or problem that can be solved through experimentation. So first identify the problem and develop a question or formulate the problem statement on the basis of which the research can be conducted. Example can be plant is not growing. So that may be a problem, and to solve the problem, there may be we can conduct some research. So like that in your business, we may have certain example like sales is not growing, or problems or the products are not moving in the market. That may be a problem. So identification of correct problem is the first step in any research. Second step is observation or research. So we have to do the research by either observation or having any other procedure to solve the problem, to the for understanding the problem and to solve the problem. Refer different theories, observe keenly to estimate the reason from the problem. So first of all, refer different theories, observe, understand the problem, observe keenly to estimate the reason for the problem. Try to understand the possible reasons for the problem. So the possible reasons may be soil quality. For this particular example, that is plant is not growing, we may have our observation, and we may have certain reasons which we may think of, like soil quality, water supply, sunlight are adequate. So these are the few things which may be related to the plant growth, and therefore we will observe first related to these aspects whether the soil quality, water supply and sunlight are adequate or not. So this is observation or research which we do before actually doing the research. That is refer theories. Refer theory, why plant is not growing, what is required for making the plant grow. So refer theories and observe keenly to estimate the reason for the problem. So try to have different possibilities, or try to understand the different reasons why plant may not be growing. So in this example we have taken plant is not growing, we can observe that we can refer theories and we can understand that soil quality, water supply, sunlight are required for plant growth, and that we will observe whether these are in proper supply or not. Third thing after observation is formulate the hypothesis. Have you come across this concept of hypothesis? Have you heard this word hypothesis? Anybody?
No,
Amol?
sir.
Yes, sir. So there is a possibility in hypothesis that
Hmm.
in formula there is a alpha and beta, that A and B
Hmm.
possibility.
Acha.
Yes.
Acha. So that means Pallavi rightly said it is a assumption. We may have certain assumption for particular research. We have to have particular assumptions or particular things we have to suppose for particular research. Hypothesis, here we predict a possible answer for the problem or question, whatever research question we have developed. We have formulated the research problem. So for that, we will have to predict or guess for particular answer or the answer for that particular problem. So in this example, we may have different hypotheses. Like example, if soil temperature rises, then plant growth will increase. So this is hypothesis. Our assumption. If soil temperature rises, then plant growth will increase. So that is our assumption. So hypothesis means particular assumption we'll have to make on the basis of which we can conduct research. Once we have formulated any hypothesis or assumption, we can test that hypothesis. We can see whether whatever assumption we are making, whether it is correct or not. Isn't it? So again, I will go back. So first step is identification of the problem. Correct problem you will have to first identify. You will have to formulate the problem statement. Then secondly, you will have to apply theories and try to understand the different reasons for the particular problem. That is the second thing. Third thing is formulate hypothesis, make assumptions related to particular problem. So on the basis of our different theories, our experience, we can have possible answers to that particular problem, and the basis of that possible answers we may formulate particular hypothesis. Particular hypothesis we can make for conducting further research. So this hypothesis means assumption. So we may have this assumption, like for this particular example, we may have this assumption that soil temperature and plant growth, they are related. If soil temperature rises, then plant growth will increase. That is our assumption. And to test this hypothesis or assumption, we will do further research. Getting till now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I will further give another example. I will start with this method again, and with another example related to management and business, so that you will further your understanding will be better. First, identify the problem. The problem may be sales is not rising. You do the observation, then you refer to different theories, different literature, and so as to understand the different reasons for that particular problem. So sales may not be growing because of the improper communication to the customers, improper advertisement, unavailability of the product. There may be different reasons that we have to find it out through the theory. Through theory, we will find out that why the sales do not rise, or what are the different reasons for sales growth. So that we can refer to the theories, and we can understand different reasons for the sales which is not growing. And once we have done that, we can formulate hypothesis. We can have our own assumptions. We'll test the different reasons which we have found out. For example, sales which is not growing, maybe the advertising is not proper. So on the basis of advertisement, we may have certain assumption that if the advertisement is good, or if the advertisement is adequate, then sales will grow. That may be our assumption. So like that, we may have different hypotheses for different reasons which we have found out through this referring to those theories or our experience. So different hypotheses we may have for a particular problem. So for a particular problem, we may have 2-3 assumptions or 2-3 hypotheses, we can call it. So 2-3 hypotheses we may have, and we will test each of the hypotheses. And for testing each of the hypotheses, we'll have to collect some information. So once we collect that information, we will test each of the hypothesis or each of the assumption, and those assumptions which will turn out right, or those hypotheses which are then accepted through research, that can give you the result why the sales is not growing. For example, if there are 3 hypotheses, maybe first is the salespeople are not working well. Second assumption may be the advertising is not proper. Third assumption may be the availability is not there. So 3 assumptions are there, or 3 hypotheses we can call. We will collect information for testing this hypothesis, all these 3 hypotheses. If any of the we will test the hypothesis one by one. For example, first hypothesis, the salespeople are not working. If we have received the data which says that salespeople are working well, then the hypothesis rejected. Means salespeople are not working well, that that hypothesis we reject. That means the people are working well. Like that, we will have second hypothesis, that is advertisement may not be proper. So the data which we have collected says that the advertising was proper. So the second hypothesis is also rejected. The second hypothesis, which is based on the assumption that the advertisement may not be proper, that is rejected. That means the advertisement is proper. Third hypothesis, which we have formulated, for example, the availability is not there, and data which we have received, which clearly states that availability is not there. So we can say that the third hypothesis is accepted. That is, really the sales is not growing because availability is not there. Many of the places the product is not available, and because the product is not available, the sales is not growing, or sales is not there. Isn't it? That is the basic concept behind this. Are you getting this, or it is going tangent? Akanksha,
No, sir, getting it.
Akshay, getting?
Yes, I
Or
get it.
you tell me, I will make it very little more simple for you. Huh? So again, continuing this scientific method or the procedure, till now we have understood that we have formulated hypothesis, isn't it? That means all those assumptions we have formulated. Then in scientific method, what the next step is design and perform experiments. So we have formulated the hypothesis, and as I told you, to collect the information so as to understand whether the hypothesis is right or wrong, we will have to design and perform experiments. We will have to design particular experiment to collect the data or to test whether the hypothesis is correct or not. So in this case of plant is not growing, soil quality. So we may have certain experiment which we can do to test whether assumption which we are making, that if soil temperature rises, then plant growth will increase. So for some one plant we may have plant which we kept we can keep in sunlight. One plant we can keep it in darkness. So we can see the difference. So this type of experiment we can design to test our assumption, to test the hypothesis. So like that, in sales or in a business, we can have different hypotheses, or we can design different designs to perform the experiment. So develop and follow procedure, include detailed material list, and the outcome must be measurable. So whatever experiment you are designing to test your hypothesis or to test your assumption, the outcome must be measurable. You should be able to measure whether there is a difference that can be seen or measured through experiment. So one part of experiment we can have the sample on which we are conducting experiment, and on one part we may have some sample of people or sample of plants in this example, wherein there is no experiment, or when those are kept intact or constant. So to see that there is difference or not, all those qualities or whatever we want to measure, all those parameters should be measurable. That means we may measure height, we may measure the color, isn't it? We may measure weight. So whatever quantities, whatever outcomes we expect from that experiment, the experiment should be designed such that the outcomes should be measurable. We should be able to measure the outcome, and then only we can say that, or we can test the hypothesis. Then is collect and analyze the data. Collect and analyze the data. To test the hypothesis, as I told you earlier, we'll have to collect the data. So whatever experiment we have designed, or whatever research we want to conduct, for that we have to collect the data. The data can be collected through different sources. So the step is collect and analyze the data. So modify the procedure if needed, confirm the results by retesting, and include tables, graphs, and photographs. So at this step, to collect and analyze the data, we have to collect the data. We have to formulate a method for collecting data, how we will collect the data, from which sources, and how. And we have to test whether whatever data we are getting, it is as per our expectations, or whether it will serve our purpose or not. If that data is not serving our purpose, we have to modify the procedure of collecting that particular data, and that we have to confirm by testing and retesting. So you can confirm the results which we are getting through collection of data by collecting the data and retesting whether the data is giving the correct or is it serving the purpose for the research or not. And to analyze the data, once we have collected, we have to include tables, graphs, and photographs, so that the collected data can be interpreted, can be understood through these tables or graphs. Then is the conclusion. Another step is conclusion. We will have to make a conclusion, include a statement that accept or reject the hypothesis. So in a conclusion, as I said, in conclusion, what we'll discuss, or what we can say is, we will put a statement, or we will include a statement that can accept or reject the hypothesis. So whatever assumption we have made for that particular problem, why that problem is there, to solve that problem we have made some certain assumptions. So whatever assumptions we have made, whether that assumptions are true or not, that can be tested through hypothesis testing, or conducting that experiment. And in the conclusion, what we'll do is, we will include a statement that will say that whether that accepts or reject the hypothesis. Whatever hypothesis we have made, or assumption, whether it is accepted, whether it is true or false, that can be communicated, or that can be stated in your conclusion. And once we have made certain conclusion, or once we have stated whether that hypothesis is accepted or rejected, we have to make recommendations for further study. So we can make recommendations on the basis of whatever information we have received, and suggest possible improvements to the procedure. So we have to suggest possible improvements to the procedure. So if any improvements are required for a particular procedure, that we can suggest in this conclusion. So in a conclusion, what we'll do is, we will state whether the hypothesis or assumption we have made is accepted or rejected, whether it is true or false. We'll also make recommendations, suggestions for further study, and we'll suggest possible improvements in the procedure. So whether the procedure can be improved, so that we can get better results, that can also be suggested in a conclusion. And lastly, in a scientific method, what we have is communicating the results. So whatever results we have received, or whatever results we have got, be prepared to present the project to the audience, and expect questions from the audience. So that means once the research has been completed, conclusions are made, that need to be presented, that need to be presentable, or that need to be interpreted to the audience. In case of business, the research whatever we have conducted, that need to be presented, or that need to be interpreted to the management, the top management, for their decisions. On the basis of this information, they can take the decisions for the day-to-day real life problems. Got the method of scientific method? Anybody in any question in this scientific method?
No, sir.
Have you really understood this concept of scientific method and the procedure of scientific method, or you want me to explain it again? You tell me. Do you want me to explain it once again in a simple way so that you can understand it better?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I will once again tell you. The scientific method which we discussed just now, I'm explaining it to you once again. So in any scientific method, you will see that the first step is the identification of the problem. So you will have to be able to understand the problem correctly. That is the first step. Second thing is you have to observe why that problem is there, or why that problem exists. There may be possible reasons which you can get from reviewing the different literature, or by reading the different theories. You can refer to different theories, different books. So from there you can get possible reasons of existence of that particular problem. Then you have your own assumptions, or we can say hypothesis based on the problem. So for that particular problem, why that problem exists, we can have certain assumptions, or we can have hypothesis. And this hypothesis can be tested by doing further research. And for that, we have to have a proper research design and then perform experiments. There can be different types of research designs and different experiments that we can learn further in this course. However, at this stage, we can understand that there can be research design and we can perform experiments to test whether whatever assumptions we are making are those true or they are false, whether they can be accepted or they can be rejected. Next step is, once we have formulated the research design, we have to collect and analyze the data. So then we actually collect the data from different sources. We modify the procedure if needed. We will first see whether whatever data or whatever information we are getting by conducting those experiment or by that collection method, whether we are getting the information which serves our purpose or not. If not, we have to confirm it by retesting. We can modify the procedure. We can include tables, graphs and photographs so as to analyze the data, and then we can conclude on the basis of the data which we have received and hypothesis testing. And by testing the hypothesis, we can conclude that whether that statement or assumptions which we are making, those are accepted or rejected, and we make recommendations for further study and suggest possible improvements for the procedure if required. And last thing is communication of the results to the audience for whom that research is being conducted. So for whom that information can be useful for taking good decisions. Yes. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now further, still further, I will give you one example, and then we can understand it better. For your understanding, I am giving you once again this example of sales. In business, while conducting a business, we have identified a particular problem, like identification of the problem at this stage. First step, we understood the real problem, that is cells is not growing. That is our problem. Then observation of different theories, we can understand that what can help to increase the cell, or what can make the cells decrease, what can affect the cells. That we can understand through going through different theories, or through your experience. And through this experience we get, or through this experience, or referring to different theories, we can understand different factors or different reasons because of which cells is not growing. Just give me a second. Hello. मॅडम लेक्चर मध्ये नंतर करू. So by going through different theories, we can understand that there may be different reasons because of which cells is not growing. The reason may be sales people not working. The reason may be non-availability of the product. The reason may be advertising not proper. There may be different n number of different reasons, and on the basis of which we can formulate different hypotheses, different assumptions which we can formulate, which can be further studied by doing some research. So once we have formulated the hypothesis, we can design particular experiment or design research for collecting the data and test the assumptions. So once that is done, the next step is collect and analyze data. So we collect and analyze the data in respect of what assumptions we have made. For all the hypotheses, for example, sales is not growing because of first reason maybe the sales people not working, second is advertising not proper, third is non-availability. In all these aspects, all these three assumptions, we collect the relevant information from different sources, and we analyze the data. And once we analyze the data, we come to know that which of the reasons is true. Why the sales is not growing, we may find one or two reasons. We may find one reason, or there may be two reasons why the sales is not growing. So that we can find it out by testing the hypothesis which we have formulated. So once we have tested the hypothesis and which we have come to know that what is the exact reason of why sales is not growing, then we can make a conclusion that which hypothesis is accepted and which hypothesis is rejected, and why actually the sales is not growing. That we can conclude in our conclusion, and we can suggest the further improvements in the study, or we can suggest some improvements in the procedures if required, and then we communicate the results. Lastly, whatever information we have collected and the hypothesis tested, the conclusions need to be communicated or interpreted to the management for taking the decisions based on that particular data. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So it's a simple process, and there is, you can see, you can also observe whatever steps we have discussed in scientific method. You will see that there is a sequence, isn't it? If you change this sequence, you may not get the proper results. For example, if you see this third step, formulate the hypothesis. If you do this first, and if you haven't done identification of problem or observation, so your research may go wrong. So you have to follow particular sequence, and there, that is how we are saying here that it is systematic. We can see here scientific method is systematic, logical and sequential process to prove existing theories or to establish new theories. So you can observe from this, it is a sequential method or procedure, step by step logical sequence of procedure which we have to follow so as to get good results, or the purpose can be solved. So this is a procedure of conducting a scientific research. I think by now you are clear with the scientific research process. isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Anteshwar,
Yes,
Chaitali.
yes, sir. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes,
And
sir.
okay, thank you. Okay, so that all these steps we'll be learning in detail in further units or further topics which we will be discussing throughout this course. So you need not to worry. We will be discussing all these steps in detail further in subsequent sessions. Now going ahead, we'll have to understand the different characteristics of scientific method. What are the different characteristics of this scientific method which we have just seen? The scientific method should have these features or characteristics. So the scientific method should be objective, empirical, systematic, replicable, logical, sequential. The validity need to be there, reliability need to be there, accuracy need to be there. So all these are the different characteristics or features of scientific method that we will see in detail now. Is the PPT visible to you all?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So we understand the characteristics of scientific method now. First characteristic is that it need to be objective. Objective means it need to be unbiased. It should not favor anybody. It should not favor the management. Also, it should not favor the customers. So the scientific method need to be objective. The scientists attempt to remove their bias, belief, preferences, wishes, and values from their scientific research. This should not come into your research. Sometimes the researcher may feel something, but his feelings or whatever he wish, that should not come in the research. The research should be unbiased, so it should not favor anybody, or it should not be based on any emotions. So it should be objective. It means the ability to see and accept the facts as they are, not as one might wish them to be. So researchers' job is to accept the facts or interpret the facts as they are. It should not be manipulated by the emotions or the feelings of the researcher. Also, it should not favor anybody, and that is how it is called as the scientific method can be called as objective. Secondly, the scientific method need to be empirical. Empirical means information or facts about the world based on sensory experiences. So whatever information you are collecting or whatever facts you are describing, that need to be based on your sensory experiences. You should see or you should actually feel those facts. It should not be based on any intuitions or any guess, anything. It should be based on your sensory experiences. That is direct observation of the world to say whether scientific theories or speculations agree with the facts. So your direct observation is important. So whatever you observe or you feel or experience through your sensory organs, that is called as empirical, or it is called as based on the facts based on experiences. And third is it should be systematic. The scientific method need to be systematic. All aspects of the research process are carefully planned in advance, and nothing is done in casual or haphazard fashion. So systematic means it is step by step. The flow of the process need to be planned in advance. It should be put into a logical sequence so that the research can be conducted in a smooth way. It should not be conducted in a casual manner or haphazard fashion. So that we call it as a systematic. Third thing which is important while we are learning scientific method, the feature of scientific method is also replicable. Replicable means repeating studies numerous times to determine if the same results will be obtained. So if we conduct the same research again and again, we should be able to get the same type of results. It should not happen that we have conducted the result today or the research today, we have got some result, and tomorrow if we conduct the same research, we have got some different results. That should not happen. So it should be replicable. The repeating studies numerous times again and again, if we conduct that particular results, we should get the same results. So the research need to be, or the scientific method, the characteristic is replicable. The method should be replicable. Getting this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
So method need to be replicable. Another feature is it should be predictive. Science is relating the present to the future, so it should be predictive. It should we should be able to predict something on the basis of whatever present data we are getting through the research. So it should be predictive. We should be able to predict something on the basis of the present data. Then logical. It is purely based on sound ideas or theories. So there should be some logic or concept behind the method, a scientific method which we are using. There should be a logic in formulating the particular procedure or the putting the different steps logically. There should be some logic. Then sequential. So there should be particular sequence. It should be performed in particular order. There is step-by-step sequence 1 2 3 4. So there is a sequence. It should be put into a sequential manner. Then another characteristic of this scientific method is validity. It should be valid. Do you understand the meaning of valid? Anybody? Valid? Narayan? Chaitali? Valid? Pallavi? What is meant by valid?
Sir, valid means it should be legally proved or
ठीक है. So validity, that means credibility or believability of the research. It is checkpoint that ensures whether researcher measures what it claims to measure. If you are taking a weight measurement machine, so it should measure your weight only, isn't it? If the weighing machine which you are using, if it measures weight, then we can say that it is valid, isn't it? Getting my point?
Yes, yes.
If your weighing machine is not weighing the weight, then we cannot call it as a weighing machine, isn't it? So a weighing machine, if it is called, it should measure your weight. It should show how much weight you have. And if the machine for which it is being placed or being used, if it is measuring what it is claimed to measure, we can say that it is valid. In research also, whatever research we are doing, when it will be called as valid, if it measures or if it produces the results which are being expected to be drawn from that particular research, then we can say that it is valid. Getting my point?
Yes.
So validity means the credibility or the believability of the particular research. So the trustworthiness of that particular method, we call it as a validity. Whether that method or the process or the research is valid or not, that need to be ensured before doing the research. So that is one of the characteristic of a research. Another characteristic is reliability. The research or the scientific method need to be reliable. Reliable means what? We say that particular method is reliable. A particular thing is reliable. What that means? Reliability means if any other researcher repeats the experiment under the same conditions will produce the same significant results. So if I am conducting particular research and I am getting some results, any other researcher, if he is conducting the same research, he should also get the same results. So after repetitive experimentation or after repetitive measurements, you should be able to get the same type of results. That we call it as the reliability. Isn't it? Reliability means the repetitiveness of particular research or repetitiveness of a particular scientific method. Getting what is reliability?
Yes, sir.
Reliability means repetitiveness of particular method or research, which on repetitive conduct of particular research, we should be able to get same type of results. That we can call it as a reliability of a research. It should not happen that the on repetitive measurements we are getting different results. It should not happen. You take the simple example of your weighing machine. If you stand on that weighing machine, if you are getting you see the weight is 66, you get back again, get on that machine, and if you see it is 68, again you immediately you get down from that weighing machine, again go back on that machine, you see the result is 70, then you can say that the machine is faulty, isn't it? It is not reliable. Getting my point?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you can say that the machine is faulty. The particular method is not reliable. Why? Because it is showing different results every time I'm doing the weight. So like that, for any research methods also, you have to see to it that the methods are reliable. You should be able to get the same type of results every time you are doing the research through that same method. If you are not getting the same results by doing this or conducting the same methods, you can say that the methods are not proper, methods are not reliable. So for making the research reliable, we have to ensure that the methods which we are using are proper and we get the same type of results each time we are conducting the same experiment. So the reliability is also important. Validity, reliability, these are the important features of any scientific method. And then it should be accurate. Accuracy describes how closely the construct measures the concept. So how accurately we measure what is supposed to be measured, that is the accuracy of the method or accuracy of the research. That accuracy is also important. How much accurate results you get, that accuracy of that scientific method is also important. If it is not accurate, then the scientific method or the research which we are conducting is of no use. And therefore the accuracy of the research or the scientific method is very, very important. Whatever research or scientific method you are using, that need to be accurate in measuring what it is supposed to measure. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I think what we'll do is we'll not go ahead. We'll open this session for question answer. You can ask me any question, whatever we have discussed today, and if you have any queries related to the session or today's session. If you have not understood anything, I will repeat it. Any query? Akshada, Akshay, Anteshwar, Chaitali, Sanket, Monica, Narayan. Any queries so far?